You're listening to Stories to Create with your host, Cornell Bunting. Author, motivational speaker, and founder of Awii each episode. Cornell sits down with inspiring voices to uncover the stories that shape who we are and who we're becoming. Get ready to listen, learn, and be inspired. The show starts now.
Ducci.
Recording in progress.
Yes. Welcome to another episode of Stories to Create podcast right here, ES Club. I'm your host, Cornell Bunting. I got to tell you guys I'm excited because, of course, I promised you guys my brother was going to be back on the show because, you guys didn't get enough the last time. There was a lot of stuff that we didn't get to unpack because we ran out of time. So sure. With that being said, now I'm sure you guys have seen him. You guys remember him. The man himself, Mr. Ronaldo Gates. Welcome to the show, my brother.
My dear brother, thank you for having me, man. It's good to see you again.
So, by the way, because, for everyone that's wondering, where are you? And the weather looks so beautiful behind you. Because you're at home right now. Tell the listeners where you are right now.
So, currently, I am in Johannesburg, South Africa, but in Sandton City.
Yes. So, Sandton City, just for you guys to know, I have not got a chance to go over to Sandton City. The last time I was in Johannesburg, I was in Sutton. How close are you to Sutton?
So I'm probably 13 minutes away from Sandton.
Oh my goodness!
I live by Monte Casino, so it's all Sandton. I live in Sandton.
Yeah. So you not far at all. So this is beautiful, and I got to tell you, We're coming over there, my brother. We're coming with the whole squad. Sir. So we pulling up. But, a lot of our listeners the last time felt shortchanged because, you were this huge hope for a lot of areas. When you got into basketball, there was a beautiful thing. Everyone was excited, and then an injury happened. And then it didn't really go the way a lot of individuals was hoping, man. Take the listeners just a little bit around, what was going on there and then what happened. And then, from there, how you unpack that.
So you're talking back in 1998? Yes. Okay. So there's like a little feedback in the background of talking. Is that...
I'm not hearing a feedback. You're good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So back in 1998, I was playing professional. I came over with the direction and support of the NBA to play in the Premier Basketball League that was here. And then in June, on the 7th day, I was in a horrible accident during a game in Pietermaritzburg, where my teammate Billy Bandit and I, we collided face on face, full speed. It was said that I took 2 steps and I flatlined on the court. To give the listeners a little background on that, if people remember when LeBron James' son, Bronny James, dropped down on the court.
Right.
And he had to be resuscitated. So I went through that kind of experience where they did chest compressions on me for over 30 minutes.
Man.
I woke up in the Meta Clinic in Pietermaritzburg 3, maybe 4 days later.
Yeah.
And they said that I asked what quarter was it? Was it the first or second half?
Now, I got to say, man, because you're doing such an amazing job with the youths over there. And, I see right now where a lot of people are so grateful that you're there as the coach. Walk us a little bit through that, man, with, what you got to do, with the squad and then the team you have around you that help you to execute the coaching?
So it's twofold. Out of the experience, I was blessed to, inspired by the Spirit of God, to create Awii Sports South Africa, Awii Sports Africa, which Awii means to arise and win.
Yes.
Which was the testimony of basically me coming back from death and arising and day by day choosing to be a person that lives in victory and not in defeat.
Right.
The team that I have around me is firstly comprised of my wife, Hoomsalie Gates.
Yes.
And then we have a team of creatives and former sports athletes, entrepreneurs, etc., that also work with us. Great body of coaches, a couple of from the United States that are also here. And basically, we develop a programming called Entrepreneur Athlete Producer System, EAPS. In that, we teach personal development and life skills, as well as basketball and sports-related skills, fundamentals in the game. But teaching the young people, as well as the community and the families, to meet all of those things together, where it's a holistic and sustainable practice for the child, for the family, and the community at large.
Right.
The professional side, I'm also the head professional basketball coach of the team that I coached or played for in 1998, the Soweto Panthers basketball club, which is a part of the Basketball National League.
Right.
So, that it's not difficult because basketball is what I love. It's what I've been doing my whole journey in life.
Right.
It's just different people, different country, things that we do in the United States. A lot of the things here are different because you're coming from more of a cultural experience, rich experience of tribal history.
Right.
In the States, what I would say is because of transatlantic slavery and the history of that, a lot of people who are brown skinned and look like me, they don't know their true origin and history.
Right.
So they do things based on getting rich out of the passion.
Right.
But wealth is often built from the equity and the day-to-day investment, the gratuity of being alive.
Yes.
And just being happy with yourself and not always feeling you have to prove yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So it's in that capacity is very unique.
Right.
In this place. This is Africa.
Yeah.
This is the ancestral home.
Yeah, man. It's beautiful, and I got to tell you, with a lot of what's going on lately in Burkina Faso, I think people are feeling hope again. They're feeling like there might be some restoration. The leaders of the different parts in Africa are now possibly going to take a stand from what the president for Burkina Faso is doing. So how you feel on what all that's looking like over there?
Well, I will say that because of the Spirit of God and the ancestors, I'm here.
Yeah.
I've been coming here since 98 on and off. And, Africa has a harmony for humankind.
Yes.
The leadership in Burkina Faso, there's nothing new under the sun. It just represents itself differently.
Yes.
We were blessed to see some of the other leaders of the continent do some of the same things, and unfortunately, they were people who were victims to murder.
Yes.
And this movement now, at the root of it all, it is my belief that when people can harmonize in the gift of love,
right,
and the gift of healing, sometimes there's entities or there's forces that are against that.
Yeah.
And money and greed, we never really know the real tell of it until it shows itself.
That's true.
I believe a lot of positive things are happening there.
Yeah.
But I'm also mature enough to know that everything that's gold, it doesn't glitter.
It doesn't
and
glitter.
Everything
that
that's
is
jelly
true.
doesn't jam.
Yeah.
So I learned from journey and experience that just because it looks good on media, I've never been to Burkina Faso. I don't really know what to do.
Right.
And I know the media can paint a picture.
Right.
Of a story that they want to convey.
Yeah.
But being boots on the ground in South Africa, which, and I'll share this knowledge, as a Pan-Africanist, South Africa is actually the place of Eden, the Garden of Eden, the Garden of Eden.
Yeah.
So the origin of the people come through the Sans tribe and the Khoi tribe. And from there, you find Lucy in Ethiopia.
Right.
So there's an ancient history that is here that if people do the homework and research, they will come to realize that Akibulan or Azania or Africa, it never had colonizer borders, man.
Right.
There was no Nigeria. There was no South Africa.
Right.
It was tribal lands.
Yeah. Wow. So, one of the beautiful thing you got going on over there, man, is your design. You have this clothing line out. You're doing some runway shows every now and then.
Yeah.
Take the listeners in just a little bit on what that looks like, to plan a show, get the different models for the show, and then what pieces get selected to be selected on the runway.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Every young person carries a story of hope, of struggle, of dreams waiting to rise. But in too many underserved communities, those stories go unheard.
At ease Inc. everyone has a story. We believe every voice deserves a chance through mentorship, empowering programs and storytelling workshops. We help youth discover their purpose, strengthen their mindset, and build a future they can be proud of.
From classrooms in Jamaica to communities across Southwest Florida.
ES is changing lives,
one story at a time.
but we can't do it alone. Join us, become a mentor, volunteer, donate, help us fuel the next generation of leaders, creators, and change makers.
Visit ahazink.org today, because when you help a young person share their story, you help them change their world.
So I'll take you back to if I could utilize colors.
Yeah.
And sound.
Yeah.
I'm autistic, and
Right.
I'm a functioning person with it, along with the ADHD, which at a long point were kind of like enemies to my journey.
Yes.
When I came to realize that I had the ability to actually embrace those things and start to learn them as not problems but gifts, I
Right.
started to see and feel and hear things differently in the wind.
Yeah.
To create something from nothing, it is part of what we all can do.
This is true.
If we make a pizza, to understand the different pieces of the pizza based on the experience of where you come from and the experience you have, you can make a pizza that's flatbread, or you can have pizza with garlic sauce, or
Right.
a pizza with pepperonis, or a pizza with vegetation.
Yes.
At the end of the day, depending on what you want to make, you can create it. And
Yes.
if you just go about doing that, the system of that now is how you pick models. Well, models are people that walk every day, whether they have two legs or they sit in a wheelchair,
Right.
whether they're
Right.
big, skinny, or small.
Yeah.
So you don't want to diminish people because of a certain concept of what is supposedly a great look,
Right.
because
right.
everyone's not the same.
Yes. Yes.
And when you look at creativity, today I may create something in blue.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, blue might not be the thing because I might feel gray.
Yeah.
So being in harmonious connectivity to sound, colors, emotion, mood, you can create things differently.
Right.
I've done a lot of different shows. I've been blessed to be in London, Milan, New York, and showcased in those areas. With Shani in the Miss Universe pageant, I did pieces with her, which we're going to be doing again in Jamaica.
Yeah.
I'm also being featured in New York at another big show in September. We're doing another big show here next Saturday. But my thing is to continue to create a nice pizza fashion.
Yeah.
Because
I love
people
that.
are hungry and they like pizza.
I love that. I love that.
And I love it. I
Yeah.
love seeing people happy.
I got to tell you, because you give us the teasers. And I like how, when you were doing one of the teaser and you were showing your people grilling on the grill, the food was looking so good, man.
Yeah, man.
Those are actual chefs or they're family members?
So those are actually, I view people who are in harmony with me as family.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
But they are chefs. So out of that, I've created a company called Hot Sauce Rippies.
Okay.
Urban America. It's urban Cleveland style soul food. And it comes from my cultural experience through my family lineage. My parents, my grandparents, my cousins, my aunts, they all had businesses and they always provided food through community giveaway for the homeless and the population that didn't have food.
Right.
So it was like mission work, but we also had businesses and restaurants. And whenever people came together to talk about the things of the family, it is at what we call the long table.
Right. So
and it was soul food.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. As a Pan-African, as you would say, why is fufu so important? How did fufu get so big? Like, because some people are like, there's other food in Africa that is way better, they're saying, that is better than fufu, but yet fufu is the most popular.
So I will say this, because in the continent, you have 54 countries, right?
Yes.
And then out of those 54 countries, I always say that you have multiple tribe countries within each one of those countries.
Right.
And they all have uniquely different concepts and practices, tribal traditions, folk ways and norms that represent through food, through music, through drums, through apparel, through dialogue or clicks in language. Fufu, based on the root of where it comes from. And honestly, I can't say that I know all of it. I've become a student of the diaspora now.
Yeah.
There's so much that I don't know. But here in South Africa, you don't really hear a lot of people talk about fufu.
Okay.
But you hear them talk about pup.
Oh.
And pup is similar to fufu, but in America we call it grits.
Ah.
So I've learned that these type of things are tribally traditioned where people eat them. So here with pup, they'll take it and they'll roll it up like a little ball, and it's white. It's maize meal.
Yeah, yeah.
And grit, and they'll make it hard and they'll dip it and eat it with food.
Okay.
But in America, we'll take salt and pepper and sugar and mix it with grits. It'll be more liquidy, or you can make it hard. It just depends.
Right, right.
Where they make fufu, they do the same, and it's like I like to call it a celebrity piece at the table. It's like coffee at a table of all kinds of pastries.
Yes. I love that, man. I love that. I got to tell you, man, you're making some beautiful moves over there, and I really can't wait to get over there. You've completed the backyard, or almost completed the backyard, yes?
Yeah, it's done.
Everything is done, or you still got a few more stuff that you got to get done?
So outside of cutting the trees down and trying to turn them into wood chips, and if I burn them in the micro fire pit, then I'll take the ash and dump it back into the soil.
Right.
So we want to, that vegetation and growing plant part is important. But for the most part, everything is done. And ironically, we're going to start doing probably twice a month, 4 times, twice a weekend, twice a month. We're going to start doing what, like I said, the soul food long table, where we invite families or friends and loved ones out to a private session where they'll buy their food, they'll have their drinks included,
yes.
And I'll have live performances, and then people can gather together and share and talk. Give them a platform and a space to connect and bridge the gaps.
I love it.
And then we're going to open up our restaurant, which will probably come around mid to late July, August.
Okay. That's beautiful, man. I love how you give people there an opportunity, and not just the young people. Other people do get that opportunity as well.
Yes.
with the programs, that you have with all the youths going on, what's the one program that you feel right now is really leading the way with bringing more of these youths to the program?
Well, basically with Awii, I'll say there's an orphanage in Alexandria. We call it Alex Township.
Yeah.
Alex is like Santon North. So main Santon, you have the glitz, the glam, the riches, the big buildings, the richest city in South Africa. On the other side of Santon, Santon North, you've got Alex. It's the hood. It's where the boots never stop moving. The grind is chaotic and hype like New York, but the poverty is real. There's an orphanage there called Ratabani. Ratabani, there are lots of children who go through the worst. So our passion is to find young people who are considered underdogs. You know, like I was an underdog through sports, and a lot of people doubted. Those children are the most special ones, the ones that have the most to go through. They just need a loving hand and help up. They don't necessarily need a handout, but when you hand out to them to give them a blueprint and a way to take their negative and turn it into good, our strategy is to work with that populace of young people and synergize, energize, and motivate them to be the best, because they're the ones that are going to come back and bring solution to the chaotic environment and bring solvent to the problems of everyday people that they come out of. They're like Yeshua, or to the Greek form Jesus. You know, Jesus came out of a situation, but Jesus is wealthy. People fail to realize that the Messiah, when he was born, they came and they brought all types of gold and myrrh and things of that nature. So he was moving with wealth at the time of his birth. These children come to the land of Akibulan from their parents and through the ancestors, and they bring the soil and the wealth. But because of colonialism and cultural greed, they have been disconnected. But I'm here to help through what we do to bring that spiritual connection back. And that's going to connect all of our children around the world so that we can bring a vibration of love. And unfortunately, people take money and power and they use it to separate people, treat them like property. There's no love in that.
I love that. Hold the thing there. I love that. And the sound went down on me in here, but I love that. As an individual that's, you got roots in America, back in the day, if you was to think back, Ronald Isley, Luther Vandross, who you picking?
Both of them, I would say I'm picking them both. And I'll tell you why. Because they both represent a vein in the spirit of family and love that they never conflict. It's like one is collard greens on the soul food table, and the other one is coleslaw or potato salad.
I
you
like
can't
that.
have one without the other one.
I like that. I like that. I gotta tell you, if let's say you put a bunch of ladies out there and Ronald pull up, Luther Vandross pull up, who they screaming for more?
Well, half gonna scream for Ronald and the other half gonna scream for Luther. And then there's someone they're gonna scream for Eddie and Gerald Levert.
Yeah. I gotta tell you, the music is beautiful, and with where the culture is heading now, like when you do a runway show or future runway show that you have coming up, who's an artist that you would bring out for that show to perform while those models are walking the stage?
I'll tell you, right? So I've had some really amazing artists, actually all of them. I had some top reggae artists here. I brought in Rico Devotion. He came in from the USA.
Yeah.
But this show that's happening next week, I've decided that I'm going to not do a DJ.
Okay.
I want all of the music artists to do a cappella style. Ooh. I've got a Zulu dance choir that I call Samunya Choir, where they're going to do Zulu tribal dance and song. And I've got an opera artist. His name is Edwin. And this brother, I'm going to have him sing opera while the creative entrepreneur models are going to walk the runway.
Wow.
So I want the people to connect from the way that we always connected before technology set in. I want the soulful spiritual connection.
Yes.
Because we are a fabric. The fashion
definitely.
show is called Mosaic de Africa.
I love that.
Mosaic de Africa.
Yes, I love that. So when I was there, I was in Soweto.
Yes.
We went down in the village, and one of the things I found that a lot of the people they didn't have technology and they didn't care for technology. Why you think they decided to just leave that where it is?
So technology is more of a outside of a cell phone and television. The tribal environment is very sacred.
Yeah.
You have 11 main tribes here.
Yeah.
But then you have variations of mixed tribes.
Right.
One in particular, my wife is Zulu.
Okay.
But her ancestral roots, she is mixed Khoi and Sans.
Ah.
So when you're dealing with the Sans tribe, there's a lot of communication challenges because of colonialism and what happened where now they call themselves coloreds.
Yeah.
But in America and in the Caribbean, when you call a person of the diaspora who presents himself through skin color or black or African descent, you will never call them a colored.
Right.
You see? Because those was fighting words. That's like calling us one of the N word or a monkey.
Right.
But
right.
over here, they embrace that the same way that folks will embrace the ideology in the States of being, they'll say, "What's up, my N?" or "What's up, my nig?"
Yeah.
So those type of miseducations,
unfortunately,
they create a unique situation of self-representation.
Yeah.
Now, having said that, the fabric of community and communion and the ability to commune together and communication is rooted in the ancestral traditions of the tribes.
Yeah.
Which is always often done through sound and music and drums. So it is the music, as you say, that unites us.
Wow.
It is the fabric of, for instance, people who don't have music, they have no rhythm. When you have no rhythm, you are spiritually disconnected from the harmonious nature of unity.
Yeah, yeah.
We can say skin color. People are fighting over black and white. But the reality is that skin color has never done a thing to anybody. It's the ideas of ideological views that create a false ideal that now drive a person's belief systems that are formed out of that sound that is actually disconnected from harmony.
Yeah. I love that. You or your wife, who's the better cook?
She's a better cook in the traditional foods. And the foods that I cook from my creative traditions and my ancestry, they ain't got nothing coming, my brother. It's a wrap. But me trying to cook some Zulu food or some tribal food, man, I'm bad. It's difficult. It's hard.
I love that. I love that. For a lot of people that's starting to see the clothing line evolve, what are some of the new look that you're thinking that you're going to be dropping later this year?
So I'm going to be dropping something that connects my bloodlines. My bloodline of my Apache, Cherokee, and Blackfoot blood history in indigenous America, my Germanic culture, and then my Bantu culture.
Oh, nice.
And I'm going to do it in a creative style of like what I call sexy streetwear.
Ooh, okay.
It's going to be classic, but I like hoodies and capes. I'll just say that.
I love that. I love that. When, because I know you've been busy with a lot going on over there. When was the last time you've been back to Cleveland?
Man, it's almost 2 years, maybe.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wow.
But I brought Cleveland with me to Africa, man. I brought everybody in my spiritual and physical historical journey back to the land of our ancestors.
Mm-hmm.
So when I talk to people, I share where I am with them. And I also say, Cleveland is in me. So when I came home, I brought my ancestors, even the ones that have crossed over. I brought them back to the land of freedom.
I love that.
So I brought them home.
Yeah, yeah. I that's a beautiful thing right there, with the way there's like all this land now that I think people are starting to see the value in the land there. You think the country will start having more individuals becoming farmers, or?
Yes. So I will say what I've recognized and learned, and even from the land and area that I've been. When human spirit gets involved with God's purpose, cultivation, the spirit of multiplication, the spirit of prosperity in the righteous way begins to take root in a different way versus maybe something that's like a weed that just connects on the surface. So as people are maturating and getting closer to God and loving one another, there's deep roots that are going down.
Yeah.
Like this whole thing of this narcissism behavior of people wanting to leave their country and go to America to have a sense of, I guess, supremacy. And at the root of that negative behavior, people have selfish material agenda.
Right.
And they're taught to follow lies and dishonesty.
Yeah.
The birth womb of apartheid, slavery, violence on women, land theft. These types of things are rooted in the ignorance that is perpetuated by greedy men. Greedy men who have hatred at their root.
Right.
And they don't know God.
Yeah.
And they cause a garden, if you will, to become stagnated and rot.
Right.
Where living water should be, the water stagnates and becomes toxic.
Right.
And the people drink from this thinking that they're going to have a better life.
This is true.
So it impedes the process of the most natural soil on earth.
Man.
The land of Africa.
Yeah. Wow. You know, with a lot of what's happening now with technology, you know, a lot of the programs that you're doing with the youths there, you feel any of that AI stuff you guys will start applying to help some of these youths with what that look like, catching up with the later technology and stuff?
Yeah, so AI technology is very important. I think with deep space and those types of things, it is very potentially dangerous.
Yeah.
Where the disconnect with AI in this country is that, remember, everything for the most part is based on the English language and what I like to say is the superpower ideological perspectives and situation in view.
Right.
When you try to speak to AI in the dialect of the native tongues, it doesn't know it yet. So most of the information is based on what the superpowers are doing.
Right.
But these people here are very ingenious and creative. This is the birthplace of humankind. People here were making computers before computers were computers.
This is true. But you know, I like that you guys have, you know, you've kind of caught on with what's going on and you're making those moves. It's a beautiful thing, man. And you know, we have a program here that we hoping that we'll be able to partner with you guys over there to get some of that soft skill learning going to help with what a lot of that look like. Right now, how big is the amount of kids that's in the program that you have there?
Our numbers are starting to swell in a good way, but we're growing it from the boots, 10 toes down, boots on the ground, and it's grassroots growing. I always like to say, I don't want to grow something from the top down or the middle up or down.
Right.
I want to start from the seed and follow the true process of a farm, of a farmer's structure. So we're boots on the ground in the community. Our first clinic, we had maybe 20 kids. Now we've got over 250 that are starting to synergize and connect in with us. Mm-hmm. Out of 20 million, we're not doing enough. Out of 30 million, we're not doing enough. So my number strategy is to reach one by one, each one reach one.
Yeah.
And then spread as we grow. But do it methodically, not in a fast pace.
Right.
In a proper spiritual pace.
Yeah. I like that. And, you know, I see where that is definitely going to be very effective. You know, one of the things I can say, and you know, because there's such a huge love for the basketball, you feel that there's still a lot of areas that want the basketball program but can't get it because of where they are?
So there are many areas that are still off grid. There are many children. And, you know, basketball does what it does. When you pick up a basketball and you start playing with it and throw it into the hole, you want to do it again and again. And you get really excited when you make it. Yeah. So the sky is the limit and there's no block. Basketball does what it does. Like when I started playing basketball, I played every other sport in America at the time. and martial arts and boxing. I love to fight. I love martial arts and boxing.
Right.
So that was really what I did, and it helped me with anger.
Yeah.
But then I realized something. I really love basketball and soccer.
Yeah.
I put my energy into that.
I love that. I love that. We, and this is something that I think we're gonna, when I get over there, we'll sit down and talk about, because the program we just roll out, the Youth Empowerment Series, it does consist of 4 different type of sports, and it's like where we bring all these different teams together to compete, and the top teams win scholarships. So, maybe that's something that we could maybe collaborate on and see what that could look like as well, just to empower more.
I will say unequivocally, absolutely, by God's grace and mercy, yes, we are doing.
Beautiful.
And we'll manifest it as we keep working now together, which is what we've been talking about. But
yes,
that is absolutely a necessity.
Yes.
It's a different plant, and it has nutrients that are going to serve a different purpose in healing the body of our people and our children.
Yeah, definitely.
So we'll make a fruit salad together.
There you go. Hey, I will never turn down a fruit salad.
That's right.
I'm big fan of that now, and for a lot of individuals, that's curious on, some of the culture and the art, because a lot of people like those wooden sculptures that are, a lot of the artists. Would you say you guys have a lot of those artists there?
Yes, and they come from anywhere in the diaspora, from any one of 54 countries.
Yeah.
For instance, in not too far from Eswatini, which is Swaziland, but it's Eswatini.
Yeah.
There's another area called Mpumalanga.
Okay.
Mpumalanga. On the way to Eswatini through Mpumalanga, you will find many, many crafters on the road who make these things by hand.
Wow.
And that's how they feed themselves. They create these things, they set up a table, they make the tables from the trees, and they set up a little bench, and they sell these things to eat. That's
awesome, man. That's awesome. I do see similar hustle, like when you in, for me, like when I'm in Jamaica, I see fishermen, they go out and fish, and people buy those fish right then. They don't even make it home with them fish.
which is beautiful, man. It's the way that's true trade and true fair exchange commerce.
Yes. And I see that because, and I didn't even realize this, that a lot of the mining and, all the different resources that Africa have, I didn't even realize Africa wasn't managing it. They had countries come in, was doing it, and I didn't know that was what was happening.
Yeah, the media has kept a great secret for a long time. For instance, Africa is much bigger than the map shows.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, there were people who have generated concept and thought and spoken word that Africa would be overpopulated. When I tell you that there's so much raw and open territory and land, and so many precious metals and minerals and plants in the soil, my goodness, man, this place is Eden. It is the Garden of Eden.
Oh yeah.
This is the ancestral root of our people around the world.
Definitely.
And every generational tribe. So coming back to the land of our origin, it's beautiful.
Yeah. I can definitely believe that, man, because I remember driving through different parts, in Johannesburg, and even when we were in Soweto, there was a lot of different just areas where there's a lot of open land.
Man, yo, and that's just Joburg. Like, Joburg is built on a hole.
Yeah.
From all the mining that they did.
Right.
But when you think of South Africa, like, for instance, like, there's a place called Drakensberg.
Yeah.
Drakensberg is where Adam's calendar is. Adam's calendar is, if you have the listeners, they can look up Adam's calendar.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ancestral history there that's kept quiet, or the Cradle of Mankind,
Wow.
which is right under Joburg, where ancestral Anthropolithecus, our ancestors, they abide here. They did abide underneath the earth.
Yeah.
When you think of the first pyramids, they're not everywhere else. They're in South Africa.
Right.
So everything came out of here.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Hey, it's a beautiful thing, man.
It is a beautiful thing. When you decide you're gonna relax, you and your wife gonna watch a movie, what's the type of movie that you would just sit down and watch the whole thing?
So it's funny, man. We go to the movies. That's our thing, to go to the movies and watch a movie at least every 4 weeks or so. Which I love the big screen. I've become part of the cast. I'm a theater major from University of Pittsburgh in college. I've been acting a fool in different parts of their life, so I love it.
Yeah.
But when we watch Netflix series, like we watched a series when we were down in Durban, where she's from, KwaZulu-Natal.
Yeah.
We binge watched that series for 2 days straight, man, until it was gone.
Yeah.
So I don't know, it's like we became part of the crew and cast. We were in the series.
That's amazing.
It's funny, man. But I love television. I love movies. It's I really believe movies tell stories of the spiritual world.
Right.
And things that are happening, and things that have happened, and things that are going to happen.
I love it, man. So it don't even really matter if it's comedy, action, drama, romance. As long as it grabs your attention, you on it.
Yes.
I love that. I'm like that too, man. I do have a lot of different type of movies that I check out. And I think for me, though, it's more because of the way I write and want to see how the people that are doing it on a bigger scale, how they've done it and making it happen the way it is.
Well, you inspire me, man.
Hey, man. Thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah, man. You inspire the hell out of me, brother.
You inspire me as well, man. So, I'm excited for what our collaboration is going to look like. It's going to be beautiful.
I'll tell you the first thing we're going to do, right?
Yes.
We're going to eat some good food. Yes, sir.
That's it, my brother.
We're going to smash.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Now, for a lot of individuals, that want to connect with the work, connect with you, find you, what does that look like? What handles can they go and find you on?
So on Instagram, it is the House of Renaldo Cortez, which is Renaldo. FASHIIN. That one is another one. So I've got like 4 handles on Instagram.
Okay.
Facebook is Renaldo Cortez.
Yeah.
If you Google Renaldo Cortez, everything pops up. For Awii Sports South Africa, it's AWII Sports in South Africa, and then that pulls up. It's funny. Like I've made social media handles and forget that I had to handle. I don't know if it's part of the autism or what.
Yeah.
I forget all my damn passwords.
Yeah.
I forget bank codes. Yeah. I just happy to be here, man.
Oh, definitely, man. I'm the same way, my brother. So I totally understand. This was so beautiful, man, and I'm grateful that we had the opportunity to get this session in. Just to inform individual more on what's going on. And we have a lot of, just because, we're in the last quarter of the show right now. But, for brothers, families that looking or hoping if there's a possibility of them moving to Africa, what does that look like? Is that even possible? Would you say Africa would welcome them with open arms?
Absolutely. The land of our ancestors will open them with open arms. And it doesn't matter whether you're black or white, because we all come from here.
Yeah.
I will say this is that anytime you leave a comfort zone to go to the unknown, there's a lot of fear.
Right.
And a lot of the unknowing.
Yeah.
But when you look at it, if you put God first in your life,
right,
there's only fear of God.
Yes.
Anything else, this is the land that God gave us as a creation.
Yep.
So we must never fear our home.
Right.
But do come back to the place of your start.
Yep. I love that. For creative minds, that as you said all this, because we want to leave our listeners with something beautiful and powerful. Individuals that are scared of change and what that could look like, but, want to believe in the craft. What would you say to them, man?
I'll say two things. One, when a baby makes a mess of themselves, a lot of times they're afraid to get their diaper changed. But if they keep running around with that diaper, they're either going to get a bad rash, and they're going to rip that diaper off, or they don't like the feel of that diaper, the smell of that diaper, and they're going to rip it off and they're going to run free.
Yeah.
The same thing with creative minds. Change is inevitable.
Yes.
If you are not willing to change, it is because you are afraid of becoming your greatest self.
Right.
And because you're not comfortable with what you don't know, the devil you know, for some people, is better than the one you don't.
Wow.
But I say take the leap of faith.
Yeah.
Trust God and give it your all, because there's no guarantees. You're going to live to die on a certain day. Yeah. So why in the hell would you not chase what you love?
Right. Man, my brother, that's beautiful right there, man. I couldn't drop the mic any better. So that was just beautiful right there. My brother, it was a joy and a pleasure having you on the show today.
The same, man. I love you much, brother.
Love you too, my brother. We'll talk more soon. There you guys have it right here at EOS Club. Another beautiful episode of the Stories to Create podcast. Until our next episode, where we have another decorative guest like my brother Renaldo Cortez, that's just doing major things out there in Joburg. Love you, my brother. We'll talk more soon.
Love you too, bro. Thank you so much.
Yeah, man. Thank you, guys. We're
Hugging you from Africa, man. Love y'all too. Peace.
Yes, sir. All right. That was beautiful. This is good.
Thanks for tuning in and downloading this episode of Stories to Create. We appreciate you being part of this growing community of storytellers and listeners. If today's conversation inspired you, please share the show with friends, family, or anyone who could use a little motivation in their journey. A special thank you to our sponsors, EHAS Organization, Cornell Bunting LLC, and Nostril Cheese Chase for supporting the mission and making this podcast possible. To learn more about our work, upcoming projects, and how you can get involved, be sure to visit www.cornellbunting.com. Until next time, keep creating, keep growing, and remember, your story has power.